5 key rules employers need to remember about documenting employee performance. Now, if there's one thing that I could remind employers about regularly is about the critical need of documenting employees' performance and doing it appropriately. Now, there's a few items that there's some misunderstandings about that I wanted to address in today's video. The first issue is for at-will employees, there's no obligation for employers to provide 3 warnings before terminating an employee or letting an employee go. Sometimes companies have a 3 strikes and you're out policy, but if the employee is a true at-will employee and the policies have been set up properly to preserve the at-will relationship, an employer can make the decision to terminate on a first offense based on the employer's discretion. So it's important to keep that in mind. Number 2, it's important to get employee feedback during counseling as well. There's a good example that I cite in an article I wrote on this topic where an employee was being counseled for being late coming into work, and the person that was providing the counseling followed this advice and said, I'll see what's going on with the employee and why they're running late before I give them the write-up. It turns out the employee was training their replacement at their other position in the company, and that's why she was late coming into this new position. So, obviously she was looking out and for the interest of the company, doing something extra she didn't have to do, and it's important for the person that's giving these write-ups, potential write-ups, to get that feedback from employees to understand all the circumstances behind what's going on. Number 3, it's important for the employer to send confirming emails to the employees to avoid any misunderstandings and to document the conversations. So it's a great way to, I like emails because they're time-stamped, and it's a great way to confirm what was said, and it's a quick way to do it as well. And it relates to another issue I'll talk about here in a minute, but it's a good reminder that there doesn't have to be an official form for a write-up or documentation of employees' performance. An email is sufficient. Any informal way is sufficient to make it an official write-up. As long as it's documented, that's the key thing. It's going to be evidence to the extent the employee claims that they weren't told about the performance, or the employee claims that their performance was fine and the decision to terminate their employment is based on some other illegal reason. So that's why it's so critical to have all these performance issues documented. Number 4, this is a big issue. Avoid language like bad attitude or failure to get along with other employees. These are vague statements that can be misinterpreted to mean other things. So when giving this feedback, use concrete examples. You were 15 minutes late on Tuesday, March 3rd because of this. You failed to turn in that report on time on March 5th. And the more specific you could be, the better. Now, 5th and finally, I wanted to remind employers that employees don't have to sign performance reviews for them to be official or for them to be effective. If an employee refuses to sign a write-up or performance feedback, that's fine. The manager should just note that on the form and should have some other witnesses there that could attest to the fact that this feedback was given to the employee. And this is why I also like email. When you send email, it shows that it was given to the employee, and there's a clear date and timestamp on it, so there's no issue that feedback wasn't actually given to the employee. That covers 5 broad topics on providing employee performance feedback. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, and also if you have any questions about future videos, please let us know. Thanks.